It's time for Thunder at the Fair with Mitch Nellis.
Broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Yes, sir. This is Thunder at the Fair. My name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan. Free on the Odyssey app, free on the iHeart app, free at thefanmilwaukee.com. And, of course, we are live on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. You do need the @ sign at The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. A little shout-out to our friends at Lefts who brought over some buffalo chicken wonton type things. They run the Miller Lite Sports Stage. Some buffalo thingamabobs. What do we got here? Root beer and chocolate cherry milk as well, Mr. Jack. Jack Pembroke, you hear him every Saturday morning on Wisconsin Sports Weekend with you, Charlie Eason. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I do know that.
But he's on the air with you every. Here we go.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Man, that root beer milk is so good. That root beer milk is so good. It is absolutely wonderful. So we are just like living the dream, broadcasting here at the fair. It's presented by our friends at Potawatomi Sportsbook. In the first hour, we had Stephanie Sutton. She joined us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. We've got Andy Herman coming up later this hour. Pack-A-Day Radio, Pack-A-Day Podcast, Pack-A-Day Everything. And luckily for us, he does not drink a pack a day because that would be a lot and probably too much for any grown human being. And then Caleb Johnson from 92.9 The Game in Atlanta is going to join us in the 1 o'clock hour. Preview Brewers Braves, check in on the Falcons, check out on the Hawks. I feel like there's probably some other Atlanta. Oh, and check out on the Georgia Bulldogs. He's a big Georgia guy, too. So what's going on in the SEC? Holy cow. Jack just got like this crazy-looking cookie that I don't even know what to make of. It's a brownie with strawberry frosting. Unbelievable. As you know, the Milk Shack is right across the way. So we are trying everything today. Congratulations and kudos to Green Bay Packers' very own Sterling Sharpe, who went into the Hall of Fame this weekend. And I know Sterling Sharpe, when you talk about longevity, did not have the career that, first of all, he didn't have the career that Packers fans would have liked him to have. Getting hurt at 29, his final season in the NFL at 29 years old, 94 catches, 1,100 plus yards, led the league with 18 touchdowns in his final season. Only played those 7 seasons, played every game, started every game. His receptions went 55, 90, 67, 69, 108, 112, and 94. His yards went 791, 1423, 1105, 961, 1461, 1274, and 1119. In 92, when he was 27, he won the Triple Crown, one of only 6 wide receivers to do that in the modern era. 108 catches, 1461, and 13 touchdowns. And then, of course, as I mentioned, his final season, he had 8. It seemed like his final season, every time the ball was thrown, every time Favre threw it up, it was Sterling Sharpe touchdown. It was unbelievable. And, if you didn't watch Sterling Sharpe, if you don't remember Sterling Sharpe, he was unbelievable. He was extraordinary. His combination of speed and strength, there was no one stronger than Sterling Sharpe. His feats of strength were legendary. But then his speed, I remember, was it 93 in the playoffs where they're at Detroit and he just got behind the defense out of nowhere. Favre threw it across his body, 700 yards in the air, and found Sterling Sharpe for the win. It was just he was a joy to watch. I know he was known for being surly with the media, maybe a little surly with the public, but certainly surly with the media. He had a famous holdout one year where he held out till 2 days before the season started, and then came in and started all 16 games and put up amazing numbers. And so kudos to him. That 7-year span, I would argue, probably in NFL history, second only to Jerry Rice. And he talked about it in his speech that, when he started, he was told to watch the defense, or John Gruden, I think, told him don't watch the defense, watch other receivers, and that's when he started emulating Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice, and that was in his third season. But his first 2 seasons, he was told just to study, not even worry about. He didn't even know the names of the other receivers. I'm guessing he knew Jerry Rice was, but he talked about Michael Irvin. He talked about Tim Brown, and of course, sitting front and center was his brother Shannon. And Shannon's got his own demons to deal with and stuff going on right now. But there was no the brotherly love was in full effect, and so I know Sterling had some words that he talked about Shannon over the weekend.
It would be a extreme privilege, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have anything athletically of value, but it would be my extreme pleasure for you to be the only player in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with 2 gold jackets. You see, you have to learn to follow before you can lead. And the only reason I'm standing here is because when I read my Bible, it talks about Jesus and how he gave his life for us. When you love someone enough to give your life for, let me tell you what else you'll do, Summer Olivia. You'll love them to the point you will live your life with them as well. I love you, Summer, like I love this guy standing next to me. Thank you very much for letting me take up 4 minutes and 58 seconds of your time.
I mean, it was actually like 11 minutes, but who's counting? There's Sterling Sharpe talking about his brother Shannon giving his gold jacket to Shannon. Right before that, Sterling had shown everyone the Super Bowl ring that he wears. And if you know, he never won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. When Shannon won his first Super Bowl with the Ravens, he gave his ring to Sterling. It worked out for Shannon. He ended up winning a second ring with the Ravens, but he had no idea that he was going to win a second ring. He still gave his ring to Sterling Sharpe. Sterling Sharpe wears it proudly as a symbol of the love between the brothers. And Sterling Sharpe made a big deal over the weekend talking about how love was, everybody's got all these different words, these reasons for why they make the Hall of Fame or why they had their career. It was strength, or it was focus, or it was hard work. And he said his was love, and the love of his family, the love of coaches. He gave a shout. It was funny. He gave a real quick shout out to Favre and a real quick shout out to Mike Holmgren, and said, and my other teammates, and they all know who they are, and we were family. But then he really focused on a college coach and a coach early on in his career. But that he really, when learning to be the type of player and the type of human that he wants to be, that he said everything I did was for an audience of one. Their grandpa passed away, their dad passed away, and he wanted to be that role model for Shannon Sharpe. He wanted to be there and have that type of love and have that type of relationship and that mantra. You have to learn to follow before you can lead. So again, congratulations to Sterling Sharpe. Exciting for him. Good day for the Packers. Less good day for Jared Allen's pants. Charlie, did you see Jared Allen's pants?
I did not see Jared Allen's pants. I'm usually not looking at guys' pants.
All right, relax. We're not looking at dudes' pants. But he was doing some like a bit where he was up there and he was talking about how he works on the farm. And he got down in a crouch, as if he was wrestling a cow or a calf or whatever, and his pants just split right down the middle, baby. And so the first thing they said was man, his daughters are going to be embarrassed when they go back to school or camp or wherever they're going on Monday.
Are you kidding me? They're going to have the best story ever to tell about their dad. He ripped his
well,
pants.
if they're making fun of it, it's the question: do they get ahead of it? Are they going to get made fun of that their dad's pants ripped on TV, or are they going to make fun of him with all their friends? That's a good point. But Jared Allen, of course, being Jared Allen, being the bigger, larger-than-life personality, he laughed it off right away, and it's like he was in on the joke. Sterling, though, very focused, just that's always been his way. He's down to business. I loved that his speech was only 11 minutes. and whatever it was on the clock, because there was probably a couple minutes before it started or whatever. But he just talked about what he wanted to talk about. He thanked his family, the women in his life who were very strong and did, and have been there for him and, picked him up when he needed it and taught him to, focus on the things that are important. So congratulations to Sterling Sharpe, Green Bay Packer in the Hall of Fame. I think it's well-deserved. I don't know, Charlie, do you have any thoughts about, when guys don't have a full career, or versus, guys who do make the Hall of Fame who played a 20-year career, who weren't necessarily Hall of Fame players, but get in because of longevity?
I mean, there's something to longevity in my mind. I think if you were to play 20 years in the NFL, that's an impressive feat on its own, even without the stats. I mean, most of these guys can't last more than 4 years without having to call it a career because of some kind of crazy injury. So the fact that you were able to last that long, I think there's something to that. With Sterling Sharpe, I think that when I look at his stats, I guess personally, I think only about 4 of those seasons of the 6-7 seasons that we're talking about in my mind, I guess really stand out as Hall of Fame seasons to me, which right. I think is fair enough to put him into the Hall of Fame. But at the same time, I also very much understand why it took so long to get a player like him into the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of Packers fans that are saying, oh, he should have been in a long time ago, and I just don't agree. I think it's nice that he got in. I think he deserves it. But also, I would have understood if he never got into the Hall of Fame too.
Yeah, and I think when you look at those seasons, the 4 seasons which were extraordinary,
the
other 3 were still really good, and he still played and started all 16 games.
One of those 3 seasons was his rookie year too, so you also can't really put a full counter on that.
And I totally agree. And back to your point about longevity, he only played 7 games, but again, what I started with, he played. It was a 16-game season. He started and played every single game available to him in the NFL. Over his 7 years, there were 112 regular season games. He played all 112 regular season games, which I think is pretty cool. And granted, you don't make the Hall of Fame because of that, right? You don't make the Hall of Fame because you started and played in every game. But when you do it at the level that he did, I think there's something to that. So again, congratulations to Sterling Sharpe, something that Packers fans can celebrate and have a good time around. Another thing that people were having a good time around this weekend was SummerSlam at the Meadowlands at MetLife Stadium, Saturday night and Sunday night. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on SummerSlam, but I do want to talk about a couple of the big surprises and a couple of the big things that happened that have transcended into mainstream media, perhaps. As we all know, John Cena is all over mainstream media all the time. I think he's got 2 new movies coming out, and so we are keeping an eye on him and everything else that went on there. We rocked the root beer milk, and which is delicious. The French toast milk is good. It's like a B+. I want it to be the milk after you have a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Right.
And it's not quite it. The flavors are right, but it's just it's B+. Nothing wrong with the B+. Chocolate cherry, I think if you like chocolate cherry, you'll love the chocolate cherry. I don't love cherry. So for me, I would rather have just chocolate milk. They don't have chocolate milk this year, which is kind of weird at the milk. Talk to Sparky about that, because I know Sparky's he likes the milk house. I feel like forever they always had chocolate and strawberry and mint. I feel like they had mint for a long time. They don't have any of those anymore. They don't have vanilla. They have I think it's only the 4 specialty flavors, right?
I feel like you need chocolate.
Right, you gotta have chocolate.
You gotta have chocolate.
You gotta have chocolate. Maybe I wonder if you could ask for because I wonder if they put the chocolate. I want no. So Jack is saying no. He says it's not gonna happen. All right,
He's already tried.
All right, first world problems, right? Yep. My name is Mitch Nelson, a.k.a. Thunder. This is Thunder at the Fair. 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, free Odyssey app, free iHeart app, free YouTube. We're on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. You can watch us for free as well. You can post your comments right there on YouTube. You can also throw in 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can throw in your thoughts on Sterling Sharpe. Do you think he deserved to make the Hall of Fame? Did you watch the Hall of Fame speech? Were you happy that he made it and represented the Packers well? A lot of good Packers jerseys in the crowd. And then, did you watch SummerSlam? WWE is really at a peaking right now in terms of popularity. They are selling out buildings left and right. They are coming to Milwaukee in a month. Monday Night Raw is coming on September 8th to Fiserv Forum. And I'm sure it's going to be sold out because they are selling out every building right now. And so we'll touch on SummerSlam. Have you been drawn back into WWE at any point in the past few years as their surge in popularity seems to be hitting a pretty high level right now? Again, my name is Mitch Nellis. It's Thunder at the Fair on The Fan. Here I am. Oh. The greatest of all time. 17-time, never seen, no longer. Is that a spoiler? Did people did you not watch it last night and you're trying to watch it this week and I'm spoiling it? No longer WWE Undisputed Champion. Charlie, John Cena lost last night. React to me.
Insane. John Cena's a really good actor, actually. Just in case you were wondering about that.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's a great actor.
Hilarious.
Yep.
Great show.
I'm excited. Season 2 is about to come out, or did it just come out?
It's about to come out. I just finished season 1, so I was a fan of that. But, I mean, John Cena, I feel like, is in that wash category in my mind at this point. I know they brought him back with all these other people like The Rock, and they bring them all back just for, like, to get the sales and stuff. But I feel like you needed Cody Rhodes to win that, right? Like, you have to let him win. He's the new generation. He's the guy that everybody's loving right now. He's the new Cena, right?
Yeah, well, he's trying to be. But he's 38. Like, he's not a young guy either. All right. My name's Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. This is Thunder at the Fair. We are at Wisconsin State Fair, 11 to 2 this entire week. Sparky's here from 2 to 5 this entire week. And make sure that you listen to Sparky. He's going to be talking about the Brewers sweep over the Nationals. He's going to be talking about Miz headed to the injured list. We're going to be keeping our eye on more Churio news, more Freelick news as well. But SummerSlam was this weekend. Last night, John Cena and Cody Rhodes, just an unbelievable match all over the stadium. Both guys performed. I mean, both guys told the story. And there's if you are a wrestling fan, I'm sure you like the wrestling, sure you like the interviews, sure you like everything, but it all comes together because it's storytelling. It's the same thing when people tell me, oh, you know wrestling's fake, right? And I say, this is how old I am, Charlie. Charlie, you know the show Friends?
I do know the show Friends, yes.
Okay. Do you have a favorite TV show?
Not really. Like, I just like TV shows. I like movies. I just like...
What's a movie that you watch? Oh, Peacemaker. How about Peacemaker,
yeah,
right?
Peacemaker,
You like Peacemaker?
Sure. Yeah, I like that.
You know it's not real, right?
I do know it's not real.
You know it's written, right? There's a written script?
Wait, really?
Yeah. So that's what I say to people when they say to me, like, wrestling's not real. I'm like, yeah, neither's anything we watch. We watch for entertainment value. No one ever said, now, injuries are real. People get hurt. They did, and so there's that to keep track of. But when the storytelling is right, and I would argue John Cena and Cody Rhodes did right by the storytelling. There was a little bit of a rush to get John Cena back to a good guy. Like, I'm not sure they rushed that storyline a little bit because, of course, we all remember at WrestleMania, The Rock gave the throat slash, and John Cena became a bad guy, and it was like, all right, how's his acting going to be? And his acting was fine. His acting was good, but he's a much better good guy. Like, he's a much better man of the people. But it all kind of happened real quickly Friday night at SmackDown, where all of a sudden Sunday, the entire crowd was cheering for Cena and, cheering but also booing for Rhodes. They weren't sure what to do. So amazing match. Cody Rhodes gets the belt back. And now we're not sure what's going to happen with John Cena, right? Like, he doesn't have the belt to protect anymore. He's done at the end of 2025. We still have a pay-per-view in France. We've still got War Games and Survivor Series, and then whatever he's going to do for the end of the year, Saturday Night Main Event, whatever it ends up being, and a man who hasn't been seen in 2 years, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's music hits out of nowhere, which is not. It was not just pure shock value, but if you actually follow what's going on with Vince McMahon in the WWE, Vince McMahon is in a court case right now that's like really ugly. Like did he pressure female employees to do untoward things to keep their jobs? And named in the lawsuit is Brock Lesnar, and there's nowhere in there that Brock Lesnar actually did these things, but he was named as one of the people that was said to these women that they would have to do things with Brock Lesnar, whatever it is. And I'm being purposefully not graphic and not, and I don't know I haven't read the legal case or anything like that. But a report had come out just 2 weeks ago that Brock Lesnar was basically banned by TKO. TKO, who owns the MMA and owns WWE, that Brock Lesnar was on the not invited list. And then he shows up last night. He looks in phenomenal shape. He stalks the ring. He walks in. Cena, he immediately attacks Cena. He gives him an F5. And for those of you who don't know, I believe SummerSlam is the famous, the 2015 SummerSlam 10 years ago when Brock Lesnar gave John Cena 16 suplexes. He took him to the original Suplex City. He absolutely eviscerated John Cena. It's probably John Cena, who's had amazing feuds over the years with Randy Orton and Edge and CM Punk and The Rock. His most brutal and probably the ones where he had the least amount of wins was against Brock Lesnar, who was always just kind of a bigger version of John Cena and a more ruthless version of John Cena. So I'm here for this. I love the storytelling. We didn't know where they were gonna go with Cena. Well, now he's got a built-in feud for at least the next couple matches. I still don't know how they're gonna end his career and end the feuds. But it was when WWE can actually pull off a surprise. It's good script writing, it's good storytelling. Because there was a surprise at the end of Saturday night also that was less of a surprise. And we talked about this a little bit already, but Seth Rollins, who was on crutches, he had reportedly maybe torn his ACL, maybe torn his MCL. He had hosted the Rich Eisen show a couple days. Like, he came in for Rich Eisen. CM Punk finally wins the belt. He beats Gunther. He's celebrating with the ring. Seth's music hits. Seth and Paul Heyman walk out onto the ramp. Seth is on both crutches. Seth, he is yelling at the ring because they hate each other. He then turns around like he's going back into the locker room. He stops. He throws the crutches to the ground on both sides in a very dramatic way. Turns around, unbuckles his knee brace, tears his sunglasses off, rips his shirt off, runs down to the ring, smashes CM Punk over the head with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he wins. And I think that this one was less. There were people who were very surprised about this one. Listen, Seth is married to Becky Lynch, who's another professional wrestler. Over the past month, every time they've been on social media, they're posting videos of their daughter, who's 3 or 4, with Seth Rollins on crutches. When he went to host Rich Eisen, he was on crutches. And they didn't let anyone know. It was a great secret. There were a lot of people in the wrestling world, though, who were like, Rollins is going to do something here. Something is going to happen. When Seth Rollins threw his crutches to the side, Charlie, what was your reaction?
That's just, again, like you said, they kept it hidden for so long to that point. I watched the Rich Eisen show because I was really excited to see what he could do on there, because he had been on a couple other sports talk shows in recent months and such, and he's been good. He was talking about the Bears a lot with Mina Kimes, and they were breaking down the Chicago Bears, so I was excited to see him on there. And I saw him getting in on crutches, and then I also heard that he was going to maybe make an appearance at this SummerSlam. And I was like, there's no way he comes out and actually wrestles. But also, if you think about it, MCL's a good injury to pick, if you're going to lie about it or if you're going to try to put up kind of some facade. MCL's one of the easier ligaments to actually be able to do something on if he were going to work out. So maybe it's not even a lie. Maybe he partially tore his MCL. People in the NFL play on partially torn MCLs all the time. So maybe this is something, there's some truth there, but still extremely surprising, exciting.
I agree. And so we will... we will see how this develops, but it was exciting, and it was fun to watch. Joshua writes in on the YouTube page. Remember, we're at The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. Says the audio is horrible on the WWE pay-per-views now. Can't even hear the crowd. It's edited. I tend to agree. I tend to think Joshua is right. It's the fan. When the fans are singing and chanting and stuff like that, I think it's good. But, it's WWE's, again, it's scripted. And it is a TV show. And it is a for entertainment TV show. They do 3 hours every Monday night. They do 2 hours every Friday night. When they have a pay-per-view like this, they do 2 hours on Friday night, then 4 hours on Saturday night, and 4 hours on Sunday night. And they're trying to make it look perfect on TV. I don't know exactly how it looks in person when you're there when that happens. And I think that sometimes they try to make it in person better, and then it doesn't always look right. But I agree, there are times where, you can tell, are they really cheering for this person? Are they pumping in crowd noise? Is the noise only on TV, or are they pumping in through the speakers at the stadium? Are they trying to make us cheer for Cody Rhodes when everybody wants to boo Cody Rhodes? Because fans, to their credit, don't always follow the script. And that's one of the things that makes watching live events as exciting as it is that the fans decide. Like Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia is known, and shockingly, like they booed Santa Claus, right? They boo the good guy and cheer the bad guy. Like Philly's done this for 20 years, where they will hijack a pay-per-view. They will hijack Monday Night Raw, and they will totally flip the script. And then the writers of that event and of future events have to figure out, is this just a Philadelphia thing? Like, does the rest of America still like the hero? Or are they just ahead of it? Because a lot of times that is the sentiment of how the rest of the country feels, that, like, we're tired of this good guy being a good guy. Like he's boring. Like, he's too good. Like, have some spine, or have a dark side, or whatever it might be. So I just think, like, my 12-year-old daughter loves WWE. She watches it. And there's a part of me that, like, wants her to write for WWE when she grows up. She's amazingly creative. She's super into Greek mythology. And I just think, like, this could be a career path. Like, these people tell stories that are modern-day mythological figures. And it's scripted. It's written. And I can't wait to see what happens on Raw tonight. I can't wait to see, does Rollins open? Does Cena open? I mean, it's got to be Rollins. I think is the new champ. Or do they go? Or does Naomi open? She won the triple threat match last night with the women's championship, in just a phenomenal match with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. So I'm excited to see how that all breaks down. Listen, I'm a fan, and I don't apologize for it. And so when there's one of the major pay-per-views, I'm going to do one segment on it. For those of you who don't like wrestling at all, I'm done talking wrestling. Like, if you want to chime in, if you want to text me on the Nikolai Lofan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, that I'm an idiot for liking wrestling, you go right ahead. If you want to text me, like, a book's worth of, like, why you love Cena, and you want to share your love of wrestling with me, you go ahead and do that too. Like, I am here for it. You want to find me on Facebook and do that on Facebook, I will do that. For the show, for YouTube, for the iHeart app and the Odyssey app and 1250 and 105.7 FM, you know what? Andy Herman's joining the show next. And Andy Herman is the absolute best. And if you don't buy that, I don't know what I can sell you. Because Andy Herman's next on Thunder at the Fair. This is Thunder at the Fair, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, the free Odyssey app, also on the free iHeart app. Just having an absolute blast here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Again, our thanks to Lefts for giving us some buffalo chicken, wonton rangoon, really delicious over there. Congratulations to Sterling Sharpe for making it to the Hall of Fame over the weekend. Congratulations to Omar Brown for having his family night Hall of Fame moment for our Green Bay Packers. Andy Herman will join the show in just a few minutes here. But it's just like, it's just wonderful being out here. It's wonderful. I mean, the music's great. The food is great. The smells are great. And remember that all of our shows, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can also listen to our shows. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find our shows as well. Catch the full episode, listen by individual hour, or jump straight to the highlights. Just open up your favorite podcast app, search The Mason Crosby Show, or search Wisconsin Sports Daily, or search, I don't know, I honestly don't know if Thunder at the Fair's on. And I won't be hurt if it's not. I understand I'm only doing the 7 weekdays of the fair, so it might not be worth creating a new template for that. But for whatever shows you want to listen to, hit the follow button. You get every minute of the show your way and on your time. It's a blast. And I know many of you want to listen in live time. Many of you want to listen, but many of you listen on your time. And maybe you listen at 1.2 speed. So I will talk slowly now so that if you are listening at 1.2 or 1.5 speed, I now sound normal. No, I have no idea if that works or not. I do listen to books at like 1.1 or 1.2. I don't listen to a whole lot of books. I like holding a book. I like holding a book. I don't know about you. I don't know if you still, for those of you who still read books, do you hold your book? Do you read on a Kindle? Do you listen? I use my library card a lot. I'm pretty addicted to my library card, and so that's how I read a lot of books. I want to hold the book, which isn't great when you're as old as I am and you got to go to the eye doctor and things can be a mess from time to time. It's not awesome. It's like, man, I used to have better than 2020. I used to have like 2013 vision. And I don't know what my vision is now, but now I have readers, and now I have Progressives. I don't even know, like, Progressive is a car insurance company, right? I don't know what Progressives are for my glasses and that sort of thing. But I just, like, I have no idea what any of that means. But I'm doing it because I'm old now, and but I still love reading real books. Joining us now on Thunder at the Fair, he is the ABSOLUTE, absolute best. He is Andy Herman from Pack-A-Day Radio, Pack-A-Day Podcast, Pack-A-Day Everything. Hi, Andy.
Hey, how's it going, Mitch? Are we going to continue the conversation of you being old, and are we going to talk some SummerSlam? That's what I want to know.
Both of those are up to you. We did get a text in the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Time to listen to another station talking WWE or whatever that hogwash is called. See ya. And I did write back that I'm done now as I explained just one segment, but I'll take it more than one segment. I mean, I don't know if, let's see, is that T and Pewaukee, I think it is, at the 608. I don't know if he knows this or not, but like, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that people actually really like. And so while I know some people don't like professional wrestling, they sell out every arena they're in. Their ratings are through the roof. Like, to talk about it for one segment, I think we'll be okay. Like, I think we can. Okay. I think we can continue to live our lives, right? But I don't want to start with wrestling. I want to start with Family Night because, it's the Brewers world. But within the Brewers world, actually that's not true. It's the Brewers universe, and within the Brewers universe, it's Omar Brown's world. What a moment for this kid. And, like, even if he ends up not playing for the Packers or getting put on the practice squad and somebody else claims him and he ends up having a Kevin Caseforhorn career for the Cincinnati Bengals or whatever ends up happening, like, good for this kid, right?
It's the best moments. And, like, I get, when it comes to playoff football or when it's down the road and you're playing the Detroit Lions in Detroit, are we going to be remembering Omar Brown's 3 interception day? Is it going to help them, win games come September through February, hopefully? Who knows? Probably not, right? But these are still the really cool moments. It's why you have family night, obviously for the practice, for players to get better, but for the atmosphere, the crowd, 50,000+ people watching the
almost
practice.
60,000, right?
Almost 60,000, yeah. And then
crazy.
You obviously get people that are getting to go to Lambeau for the first time, but it's also these moments for some of these players who are going to be journeyman practice squad guys, may not even dress for an NFL game in their entire career, but get to go out there at Lambeau Field. And for Omar Brown, who I really like, by the way, he was a 2024 draft pick. He was somebody that the Packers had in for a top 30 visit, did a lot of research on him ahead of time because they end up with a lot of these top 30 visits becoming Green Bay Packers at some point, signed with the Denver Broncos as an undrafted free agent. But I really liked his tape. I thought he was a draftable player when I watched him. And then they eventually got him after the Broncos released him. They picked him up on the practice squad, and the rest is history. So the Packers safety room is incredibly deep. That definitely does not do Omar Brown any favors. But no, he had a heck of a night, 3 interceptions, including a very acrobatic one with his third and final one.
Andy Herman joining us on Thunder at the Fair. And so that, I talked about that during the first hour of the program. It's like I'm torn in a way because there's 90 guys on the roster and 53 guys make it, and then it's 45. And so 37 of these guys, with all due respect, we really, this is what you do for a living. I don't really care. I know I'm on sports radio, but it's hard enough for me to know 53 guys. Or to know 45 guys, but to get to know 90 guys, 37 of which aren't even going to end up on the team, and so I'm torn, about this good story, and Omar's not the only one. There are other young guys who had good nights Saturday night and deserve their name to be shared, but it's also how much effort and time do I have to learn guys who aren't going to be the guys I'm cheering for on Sunday? I want Jordan Love to be the story. I don't want Omar Brown to be the story because I know we need Jordan Love to be who we want him to be in order for the Packers to achieve their highest capabilities this season.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, first of all. And I think you're in the 99th percentile of what people ultimately care about and would have loved if it was Matthew Golden, Jordan Love, or a variety of other players that we were maybe talking about. I do think things have changed a little bit with the recent rule changes, really since COVID, where, you have 17 guys in the practice squad, including your international guy. Of the 91 guys on the roster right now, 70 of them, or darn near close to it, are going to be on the team in some capacity. And now you have the practice squad call-ups as well. So it's not just the 53 that can actually play on Sunday. You can actually call guys up from that. So I do think it is a little bit different, where before it was all right, the 53 is what matters, and the practice squad's this kind of fun, side gig or whatever, but it doesn't really mean much. I do feel like it means a whole heck of a lot more now. And again, you end up with a lot of these guys actually on the Packers roster in some capacity. So I do think that changes a little bit of it. And then I think the other thing too is, you don't want to or care to know Omar Brown until all of a sudden it's week 11 and you've got 5 safeties on IR and Omar Brown is out there patrolling the backfield, right? And then you want to kind of know a little bit about him. So this is why we tune into the Pack-A-Day radio show, from
That's
8 to
right.
9, so we can give you
Monday
all the
through
Omar
Friday,
Brown
baby.
information that you're absolutely going to need on a day-to-day basis.
No, you're absolutely right. Andy, so Omar Brown is obviously the name that jumped out, that got all the headlines. Who else? Were there a couple other players that you'd like us to know about or introduce us to or reinforce that this is somebody that we should keep an eye on who might have performed a little bit Saturday night?
Let's talk about a defensive back that is going to matter quite a bit on Sundays, who came up with another big interception at practice and who's had legitimately a phenomenal camp so far, and that has been Carrington Valentine. Yes, now Omar Brown does have 5 interceptions, but Carrington Valentine is right on his heels with 4 interceptions. Had the interception in the 2-minute drill on Jordan Love. All the other interceptions were off of Malik Willis or Taylor Elgersma. The Carrington Valentine had the one that was actually on Jordan Love, and in a key 2-minute period, he has been, I'm not going to say shut down or whatever, but he has been so difficult to complete any pass against, and he's come up with those 4 interceptions, has almost had about 2 to 3 more on top of that as well, which is ultimately massively impressive in and of itself. He is really stepping into himself. And here's the thing with Valentine. he is somebody that has great instincts. He knows how to play the game. Yes, we saw him get dribbled on the ground by Dallas Goedert in the playoff game. I think he's put on a little bit of strength. I don't think, he wants to see that situation come to fruition again, but he's now trusting all those incredible instincts that he has as well. He's a playmaker, and I think you're really going to see him start to take that to the next level because he's trusting those instincts a whole heck of a lot more.
Okay, so what does that mean for Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, and then Carrington Valentine? Like, what opportunities does that open up for the Packers if Valentine really proves that he can do this at the highest level?
Yeah, so a couple things. To me, there's going to be two nickel defenses, and this can change at any given point, but there's going to be a base early down nickel where I think you're going to see Keyshawn Nixon and Nate Hobbs on the outside with Javon Bullard in the slot and then Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney at safety. And you're going to see that against 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. And again, if it's a 1st and 10 and there's a lot of run options, or it's a 2nd and shorter, there's a lot of run options, but you still want to be in nickel, Javon Bullard in the slot's probably the way to go. However, when you get to more obvious passing downs, it's a 3rd and 8, they're passing. And I think what we're going to see in those situations is Nate Hobbs in the slot instead of Bullard, then Valentine and Nixon on the outside with, again, Williams and McKinney at safety. And you're going to see them put a little bit more coverage ability on the field in those situations. So I think you're going to see 2 different nickel formations. And, of course, if there's any injury to Keyshawn Nixon or Nate Hobbs or Javon Bullard throughout the course of the season, Carrington Valentine's going to be that next guy up in that situation as well. So he's going to play a lot. And, again, I think he's ready for it.
Anything else from family night before we turn our attention to this week?
Yeah, Brandon McManus, 8 of 8. Yes, there was allegedly a missed field goal.
Allegedly.
There was a missed field goal in the warm-up period, so it doesn't necessarily count towards the unofficially official stats. But once practice started, he was 8 of 8. He did have a little bit of a miss in the walkthrough period of that.
He's ridiculous.
He's ridiculous. It's really remarkable. What could possibly go wrong now that we put him up on this pedestal that he's never going to miss?
Yeah,
but no, he's absolutely been fantastic. And then, I'll point out one more good one more bad one. Warren Brinson, and I'll just point out Stackhouse as well. The 2 defensive tackles from Georgia have had a great start to camp. They look like they're going to potentially be able to contribute this upcoming season. Probably rotational spots, right? Nothing, of major significance, but it's not a super deep defensive tackle room. So Brinson and Stackhouse looking the part so far is not nothing. And then on the flip side, I do think it was a rough week for Malik Willis. He had a practice, I think it was earlier this past week, where he had an either 3 or 4 interception day, and then he had a 3 interception day at family night as well. Just looks like he's maybe trying to do a bit too much, trying to force some things. One of the things that he was great at was taking care of the football when he was in there as a backup. That's different with the 2s, and he's trying to explore this Matt LaFleur system a little bit more, but just want to see him take a little bit better care of the football.
That was going to be my follow-up to that. Andy Herman joining us here on Thunder at the Fair, 1250 AM, 105.7 FM. The Fan, hear him every Monday through Friday, 8 to 9, Pack-A-Day Radio. Do you think part of that is like he knows he's the number 2, and so he's feeling himself a little bit, but like in a way that like, he's going to take a few extra risks, just see what he can get away with? But if he were to actually be called into action in a real NFL game, he will go back to being the Malik Willis we know and love from last year?
Completely. I would have no concern if, you clearly want Jordan out there if, in any given game. But if Malik Willis was all of a sudden starting a game, I have no issue where he's just all of a sudden going to go back and drop the pass and just be gunslinging it all over the place. I guarantee you he'd be taking great care of the football, just like we saw him do a season ago. And I still think Green Bay's very lucky to have him as their number 2 quarterback. Nice.
So today is Monday, August 4th, right?
It is Monday, August 4th, 12:56 p.m. in the Central Time.
Yes, that is. You are looking live at Wisconsin State Fair. Andy, what's happening in 5 days? What is happening in 5 days at Lambeau? 5 days of what? Are you kidding me? We are 5 days. I know it's preseason. I know nobody's going to play, but it's still a football game at Lambeau in 5 days. Are you kidding me?
It's remarkable. Everything just flies by so insanely fast. As soon as you get to kind of those OTAs and mini camps, and then all of a sudden it's training camp, and then it's family night, and then it's preseason, and before you know it, it's going to be the NFL draft, and we're going to be talking about prospects again. That's just how this stuff goes. But no, it's crazy that they've got a game. New York Jets, Packers, Jets at Lambeau Field on Saturday night. I think it's a night game, right? 7 p.m. if I remember correctly.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, all those roster battles, even just seeing guys like Malik Willis being able to play a little bit more, hoping to see, some of the guys like Chris Brooks. I doubt Emmanuel Wilson's going to be back, but overall, I think this is a fun roster. I made the bold prediction, Mitch, you'll like this one, that they will go undefeated in preseason, 3-0 in preseason this year. So
and what is the history? What is the history of teams that have gone 3-0 translating to Super Bowl victories, Andy Herman?
I have no idea. I do know the 0-16 Detroit Lions team was undefeated in the preseason, so that probably doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot.
I agree with you. Does Jordan Love take a snap Saturday night?
I'm going to say no, but I do think there's like a 50-50 coin flip of him getting like a drive, probably a couple handoffs in a slant or something like that, just to start getting like the thing I always look at is I kind of want him to play in the earlier preseason games because let's say again there is an injury for any of the starters, it just gives you that extra week to kind of recover from it in case there's
something minor.
Exactly, right. So I would almost lean a little bit more if I were the coach of playing guys in that first one. But the second one is usually what they do. And so I'm going to say like 70% no, maybe 30% yes, but I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah. Do you think there's a better chance because they are at home and so they want them to get out in front of the home crowd for a series as opposed to playing the next week in Indy, for example?
They could look at it that way. They could also look at it where this is the 1 week where they don't have a joint practice. So the next 2 weeks, they do have joint practices. So they could view as Jordan getting his time at the joint practices when he's wearing that red jersey in the following 2 weeks. And again, maybe give him that preseason action this week when there's not a joint practice and not the Jets coming to town for practices. So we'll see. I'm sure Matt will tell us probably not the full game plan, but if Jordan might play or not coming up this week.
Absolutely. All right. Andy, we're about at the end of the hour. Thank you so much for jumping on. Both nights of SummerSlam ended with surprises. Were you surprised by both? I have to assume you were surprised by Lesnar showing up last night because I don't think anybody saw that coming. What were your impressions of SummerSlam?
Yeah, so just really quick, for the most part, enjoyed the show. I watched more of day 2 than day 1. I was actually more surprised by the Seth Rollins sort of cash-in at the end, and Punk winning in the cash-in. The weird thing is, so I don't follow like the dirt sheets anymore to know what's happening. And as soon as Cena lost, and you sort of saw, I'm like, they're panning for some like his next, rival. For
something,
right? They're gonna set something up here. And like I went through just the Rolodex in my head of like what would be SummerSlam worthy. And the first name that came to my head was Brock Lesnar. And I get the legal stuff and things like that, but I'm like, I bet this is somebody like a Brock Lesnar. Not really knowing which who it would be, but it was Brock Lesnar. So it stunned me a little bit less, but was a little bit more surprised by the Saturday ending.
I think I was waiting, and I know you mentioned the legal stuff, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. I think I was waiting for Lesnar to show up at some point during the whole Reigns-Heyman breakup, that Lesnar would get involved somehow there, and obviously did not. I think overall they put on good shows, and it was interesting. Yeah. I like that Rich Eisen had a TikTok video today talking about, like, listen, we bought in. Like Rollins showed, because, Rollins hosted the Rich Eisen show a couple days.
Oh, that's right.
When Rich Eisen was golfing in Vegas. And he's like, dude, he showed up on crutches. Like, we all thought it was real. Like what a great actor. I mean, what great storytelling, what great writing, what a great actor. And that's what we're here for. We're here for the entertainment value, right?
It works. If you can work us in mainstream media, by all means, do it. And good job, WWE, for pulling that off.
Absolutely. Andy, tomorrow morning, 8 to 9, what do you got?
Tomorrow we got Steve Perhatch, Pack a Day Podcast. We'll be breaking down kind of a little bit more of who stood out, who has not stood out at Packers practice so far. And then, of course, looking forward to, day 10 of training camp, I think, tomorrow. Whatever number it is, we'll look forward to that as well.
Yep, they get back to work. They're off today, right? No media availability, nothing today.
Today.
Back at it. Yep, back at it tomorrow and every day through basically Friday. Friday, of course, they get ready for the game on Saturday. So here we go. It's game week. It is game week, Andy Herman. Let's get that. The eye black under the eyes. Let's get. Yep, exactly. All right. Thank you so much for jumping on, Andy. You're the absolute best.
You're the absolute best, Mitch. Thanks for having me.
You bet. That is Andy Herman, Pack a Day Radio, Pack a Day Podcast. Find him all over YouTube. Also listen to him every Monday through Friday, 8 to 9, right here on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan. Free on the Odyssey app, on the iHeart app as well. On YouTube, he's on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee from 8 to 9. His show is live, like all of our shows are now live at The Fan Milwaukee. More coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, including an Eye on the Enemy. We've got Caleb Johnson joining us to talk about, we're not just going to ask him about the Braves, but we're also going to ask him about, like Andy talked about, we've got Brinson and Stackhouse. We've got the defensive tackles from Georgia that we got to talk to Caleb Johnson about as well. You are listening to Thunder at the Fair on The Fan.